there's very few room for errors right now for Aimee. One more and the game is just done.
Yeah, effectively, if you're Aimee, you're trying to get to late game with the Jinx at this point, but SKT, they won't let you get to late game. Duke, he's angry. He's actually not angry enough, he just has the minion.
But just taking a bite out of Poppy all the same every single time, saving his ulti for it, wants to make sure he retains that cooldown. Now innovated on the bottom side of the map because Duke has priority here. Blank steals away yet another buff. The blue was stolen not long ago. This is the red being gone as well. SKT might even still control top jungle. You can see Avoidless wasn't able to complete the red buff taking. Actually, Faker cleanses out, dodges the ulti, just immune to all CC. As now SKT is continuing to chase the flash. Hulk actually gets the stun on a Baby, and this Rise forced to flash himself out as well, ghosting to get himself away. Thunder to Wolf means no more CC, and Aimee run away with their life.
And that's all set up through the vision control. SKT right now have complete control of the river. As soon as Avoidless goes for that invade, I mean, the Nidalee just makes a beeline towards him. Faker cuts off the exit. Some good mechanical play flashing over that wall, but really, Aimee had no business being there in the first place because they just didn't wrestle back control of that river.
Right, Russell control from Amazing J, barely missing the javelin, but even still with the Trundle ulti on, he's got a flash out. Amazing J losing another summoner spell, and SKT with control over that mid lane. This will be a turret falling with no contest here. No Rift Herald picked up this game, but turret number 2, they actually can't quite stick to it.
They're saving it for later.
Yeah.
You know they can get it, pick up the gold. 3
HP.
members from Aimee just lost, or 2 members, sorry, from Aimee lost flashes here, so if another fight like that breaks out, well then SKT picks up 2 kills instead. For now, they might just have to take this tower, 1 hit on it, unless it's debate, where Aimee strike, wait for that Rise ulti from the Raptor camp, in behind SKT when they want to go last at that tower. Probably not going to happen, but if you're Aimee, you gotta look for that opportunity soon.
And you know, Aimee is no stranger to this. They're a team that has historically fallen so far behind. Just go watch their gauntlet run. You know, they're 10,000 gold, all their inhibitors down. Amazing J does get that flank and they pull it out. Sure, that's against Team WE in the LPL, not against SKT, who are a whole different beast. But if a team is comfortable being behind, if that is such a thing,
if it is a thing, I mean, it's a fascinating thing about some of the LPL teams. You know, you have WE, where it seemed like one of the strategies were to fall behind, let the enemy team start Baron, and then Condi, the jungler, would steal the Baron. They're like, that was the way to win the games. And Aimee was like, yeah, let's fall behind. Let's place a deep ward on the map, and then let them push us in, and then we TP there with Amazing Game. We win the team fight. Obviously, it's not the main strategy for the teams, but it has happened quite a lot. And it's some of the crazy things we get to see in the LPL from time to time.
And I guess one of the things about Aimee is that they are one of the more patient LPL teams. I mean, a team like LGD...
Whoa! Ooh, weird flash from Blank. Maybe he didn't want to hit that, but he did.
Teams like LGD, teams like...
It's distracting. Look at me,
Yeah,
I'm flashing.
yeah.
Oh, we took your tower.
Teams like EDG will play a much quicker tempo in losses. You know, they like to speed up the game, look for those team fights. Aimee, WE are some of those teams that like to protract the game, pull it back out. So they're still playing a very scaling composition, and hopefully they can look for those opportunities.
There are things to keep in mind. That late game Jinx is always going to be incredibly scary, and though typically Sivir can match her on that damage output, Braum is my favorite pick into the Sivir. You can break the Ricochet, break the Boomerang Blades, and neuter 70% of Sivir's damage with the Unbreakable Shield up, and so maybe Jin Zhao carries the fight later on in this game, but right now SKT have all the tools, all the control, 2 Dregs, up 2 Dragons, up 2 turrets as well, and a 3rd one spawning that they're taking.
It's also about the relative distance that you can safely output that damage. I mean, Jinx is much longer range than Sivir. Maybe the first mistake that we've seen out of SKT in a long time. Wolf actually had no business contesting that vision right there, had to burn a summoner spell. Is something very, very minor, but you know, has historically been an issue for the support player of SKT.
Sure.
Now Road trying to do his best Wolf cosplay, doing the same thing, walking into a jungle that he had no business being in.
At least he's able to walk through without burning his Ignite or anything, so he's fine. But SKT back on the rotation game, up to the top lane, double Cloud Drake, tons of movement speed, and now that's going to be top lane, tier 1 going down. 3-0 in turrets, 3-0 in Drakes. SKT taking their time, but continuing to build advantage without really any opportunity to get caught out.
Yeah, and this is what we talked about earlier, how SKT had full control of the side lanes. They're pushing side lanes, you know, both top and bot lane, they control in mid lane. So Aimee has never found a way to move the Rise to that side, because whenever he went there, the wave would be pushed all the way back to his tower, so he could never really be a split pusher. He's down there now, the Rise in the bottom lane, and he's trying to find the Duke lane to see if he can actually harass that melee champion. Meets the rest of SKT, they're looking for a fight.
He's pasted up by the Karma Shield, doesn't quite land the Q poison, but still plenty of damage onto Avoidless, who's forced to run away. Bang burns the ulti as well. Poison onto the turret. Losing health is Aimee. A couple of shots in for Bang, not too much else gained. Couple ults down.
The problem with this play, sending Ryze into the bottom lane at this stage of the game, is it's too late now. It's 25 minutes, they have no control over the river, and with Cassiopeia, Baron is such a real threat, and Ryze doesn't have teleport. I mean, he has the ultimate, but it's not going to cover that same distance, so in this 1-4 split push game, SKT just naturally win out because of how much control they have over that topside objective.
They've had just a very good job, playing around all of this. The champion matchups seem nice. They're clearing faster, absolutely. Another attempt to steal the red buff away. Jin Zhao says, hey, I really, really want that. And it's up to Road to Black. Ooh, that was close. Avoidless actually smites to make sure it didn't get stolen. Would have liked to get that on Jin Zhao, but will not be able to.
And we do have some time, to talk about different things in this game because SKT is just slowly choking out IMA and making sure they can't get anything. Fake also blocking the choke point here, funny enough, and getting all the minions into tower. Let them all die. No one gets to pick them up. That's a blue buff as well. Beimei, if you wonder what he's skilling, he actually took ulti before.
Yep.
Level 10. Some Ryze players don't do that. They take it 10 and 11 because the first one is fairly low range. He took it very early on. He's also maxing Q the overload, which actually is not the most effective thing you can do. It's better to get a few ranks into it, like rank 3, rank 4, and then just go full up in your spell flux because it increases the overload damage when you use spell flux first by 15% every time. That is more than the base damage on the Ryze goes up, the overload, when you rank that one. So it's actually better later on to just max out spell flux and then put the last 2 ranks in overload in case you want to play Ryze. There was a great guide about this, on the TSM subreddit actually, that I read that was fantastically well written. I'm sorry I don't remember who actually wrote it, but he explains all these things into details. So right now Beimei, it's not been his greatest game of all time despite being 2-0, because he actually expected to have much more of an impact on this Ryze. They subbed him in to play this pick, and hasn't really done anything.
I mean, he was able to get things done in the early game, but this game is just completely stalled out by the fact that SKT have just controlled the map absolutely. You've got a 60 minion lead in the jungle. Blank playing one of his very rare Nidalee games. I believe you said he played it, once?
Once in the summer split.
Yeah, once in the summer split.
And
so the last, right. So there you go. Maybe his first Nidalee win of the last 6 months or so, and actually doing, I think, fairly well on the champion. Beimei, kind of 1v5 right now as far as the scoreboard's considered.
This has always been the scary thing about SKT. I mean, we saw Faker absolutely dominate a game already at Worlds, but he doesn't have to do that every game when this team is playing well. I mean, also a huge CS advantage in the bottom lane. Duke definitely won out in that 1v1 top lane. Multiple members of this team can and will carry. And then, Faker can just fall back in line and do his role on this team. He's fallen down in CS, but, still a 3-item Cassiopeia doesn't really care.
No, and it's been an easy game for Blank, as we talked about. His mechanics are not the problem. It's the decision-making when he's under pressure, especially. When you have multiple winning lanes, it is very easy to jungle, because almost everywhere you go, you can get backup. Someone can move with you and actually help you. There was once he didn't have backup, that's when he had to flash away, and that happened basically, 20 minutes ago? Ever since that, it's been a flawless performance from SKT where no one is really under pressure, and then I'm sure someone is going to argue 26 minutes in, why haven't they finished the game yet? Well, they're just playing very, very slow and steady. Now's the time to start setting up Baron. You are healthy enough to actually tank the Baron and take it down. You have the damage, and now you can force IMA into a team fight around this Baron here and win that fight.
Exactly. The big thing when you're watching a team with a lead play is not the really broad strokes, but is the gold lead constantly going up? Are they taking vision control every minute or so? And this is now the culmination of that effort. They've got complete darkness here on this side of the map, taking down Baron pretty rapidly, and I may have to face check through several layers of wards, and there's not even a chance. Baron already picked up here by SKT, and maybe they find a bit of an engagement. Amazing J flashing and getting caught out by Faker, though. Puts him not quite under the wall, nothing really being gained. Amazing J about to lose his life, and does so. Sends members of SKT back, but no one else from IMA was ready to follow in off Amazing J's flash, just went in to die by himself.
And notice the small things in the team fight. I mean, Duke completely zones out Beimei, the only person that has any items, and right now he can't duel Duke. That's a very easy Baron pickup now for SKT, and they're just going to try and march it up mid lane.
There we go, mid lane tier 2 going to be pretty easy, I believe. Bang pulling aggro, doesn't even care all that much. This will be another turret felled. 52 to 42,000 gold, a 10k gold lead 27 minutes in. Absolutely massive right now by SKT as they continue to push in for the inhibitor turret. Amazing J still dead for 10 seconds.
Be another tower here for SKT going down, or at least getting it very low. There's still a few caster minions, and Bang finally decides to step in, get the job done. And now that's how you pick up that Baron. No risk, no chance of IMA actually stealing it. If IMA had been there earlier, SKT would have turned around and picked the fight. So honestly, they were just waiting to be healthy enough, have enough damage, take the objective down, and now that open up the base already.
This is a desperation team fight. I mean, they've already used 2 big ultimates. Amazing J gets nailed here. They don't have the Rise, and he misses the wall slam, which means that Amazing J is just going to get popped. Aimee, they had to try something at that stage. I mean, giving away a Baron and not getting anything in response was always going to be bad news for this team, but now they're 11,000 gold down, and the game's just getting further and further out of reach.
Yeah, you talked about it being a desperation team fight. I think Jin Zhao did literally 0 damage during that encounter. The one auto he did get off was nullified by the Poppy ultimate regardless, so absolutely nothing done right there. Zoned by just Karma and Wolf, the 3 members over there.
And you know, while we're talking about snowballs, I always think it's important to identify what a team does. If you're really long range, if you're a poke comp and you can siege up and take the game relatively quickly, sure, that's great. But when you have a look at SKT, they have all their carries underneath 500 range, right? So being able to siege into what is a Rise, you know, is a Jinx right now, would have been dangerous without the Baron buff, but at the same time, they have the Cassiopeia, so they set up vision control around that river, and they're able to take it down pretty much on time. So I do agree that, you know, sometimes teams do close out slowly, but you have to always look like, you know, what are they actually trying to accomplish on the map?
Right now, they've been accomplishing a 12,000 gold lead 30 minutes in.
Aimee's just enjoying playing against SKT.
Yeah.
One thing to last longer. It's the experience. We just had C9 versus Flash Wolves go, what, over 60 minutes.
71, roughly.
And now Aimee, they want to do the same.
They're not going to match that record.
I don't think SKT will allow it.
SKT too vicious of a team. Jin Zhao half HP. Blank threatening the dive, doesn't go for it. Jin Zhao will stay alive, but top lane inhibitor turret now down as well. From Duke split pushing the 1-4 split push working very well. Road tanks the javelin. Big shield on for SKT. More damage to the turret. A quick knockback puts a Blank away, but it's still the siege that's not really being stopped. Smite to kill off the cannon minion. Yes, they'll drop it down, but a new wave of reinforcements is coming. Bamey trying to fight Duke, level 18, level 16 to 17, and just can't do quite enough damage to him walking back in, but the bottom lane siege still going through, and this turret now down to 1/3 HP.
And Duke just doesn't care at this stage of the game. I mean, he's already picked up 3 items. He's got the boots in there as well, so the CC not really affecting him. And Trundle at this stage, you know, when he does get ahead, he's just such a menace in the split push because of the passive, because of the Ravenous Hydra. He just heals up off the wave and comes in to repeat it all again. Honestly, this game is just so hard to be able to stop SKT's game plan.
And even when a stun lands on Bang right in his face in front of a turret, there's just no follow-up there for Aimee. They're not even defending the turret at the same time. Only 3 people were even in range of that fight. Oh, by the way, Duke is top lane and killing an inhibitor, and no one's around to even stop him. Now it's the Rise ulti, the Realm Warp, try to cut him off, but a nice pillar buys some time, and oh, there's no mid lane turret, by the way. You can just walk right past that inhibitor with no surprises here. Road, gonna lose the 1v1 against him. Jin Zhao have to have thanks to a crit from Bang, and here comes the Glacial Fissure. Put damage on a Blank, can't quite kill him. The Rocket, not doing enough. Blank lives by the skin of his teeth, and now it's Bamey dropped out Faker with the Petrifying Gaze. The second kill comes in thanks to Bang. Avoidless running out of HP. Down to the bottom of your screen, 1 more shot, the crit's gonna do it. Bang gets another. Amazing J's gonna drop 2 and 2 right here. It's only Road left alive, and he's gonna be lonely as it's him walking back to his home camp, because guess what? SKT with the inhibitors all down now, looking for the game-winning push onto the Nexus turret, and it was controlled the whole way through. SKT won their lanes, they won the fights, they played the control, and now 2-0 is the reward as SK Telecom T1 are in form, knocking down Aimee.
You know, ultimately, too smart, too good, and way too disciplined for this Aimee team to even have a look in this game.
Yeah, honestly, almost no mistakes from SKT. No chance for Aimee to get a crazy game going on where they can maybe bounce back. And we have to just look at that draft. We have to look at what they were trying to do, subbing in Bamey with that Rise. So they were building a 1-3-1 comp, but they decided to pick a top laner who has a lot of counters as a split pushing force, and they picked this Jinx in the bottom lane. Yes, it's a fine matchup against Sivir, but then it's also range support next to the Sivir. So the bottom lane from Aimee really had to outplay SKT's bot lane to make that work. So essentially,
NA's Cloud9 down the line, starting with you.